Tool Shed. Hi, David.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good, David. Thank you so much for joining today.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's good to be here. It's a bit odd when you can't see your audience, but I guess
I
I'll get used to
know,
it as I go along. So, yeah.
I know. But you know what? Lots of people are watching you. So, just share all the expertise that you have got for us today. Good
Great.
luck.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm David Lett from the Tool Shed. I'm one of the founders of the Tool Shed Training Centre, and we started out in High Wycombe, actually. It's been a partnership, a very, very positive partnership over the last 6 years with Red Kite Community Housing. They've been massively supportive for us and helped us to grow and reach out to benefit more and more young people over the last 5 to 6 years. So just very, very quickly, I'm here to focus on this particular topic of networking because I'm really, really passionate about it. But I just wanted to give you a quick flavour for who Toolshed is. So we are a training centre with a little bit of a difference, and I'll come to that in a minute. So in June 2015, we opened up a construction skills training centre. So we teach young people, predominantly 16, 17, 18 years old, construction crafts. And it's plumbing, carpentry, painting, decorating, joinery, those sorts of skills, and tiling. That enables them then to go out and get work or start a career in construction, but they don't necessarily have to. So some of our young people have gone to work for builders merchants. That type of outcome can happen too. We've had roughly 180 young people graduate from our construction skills course, and roughly about 90%, so 9 out of 10 of those have gone on to secure work as a result, which is a fantastic outcome. And then we added in a work placement orientated program. So we call it the work and study program. And that's where we work with you and find a work placement for you 3 days a week. And then we come to the work placement. One of our tutors comes to that work placement, and you do your functional skills, English and maths, and some employment preparedness type work as well. And then we have a final program. It's an independent life skills program called Achieve. And that helps young people develop independent life skills. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So at the end of this presentation, I'll put up our website logo, URL, so you can actually find us there if you want. But look, search for Toolshed. We're on Facebook, and we're also on the web. So you'll find our contact details there. Just get in touch, and if you're interested in finding out more, you're more than welcome to. So why am I so passionate about why is networking so important? Well, without further ado, just going to move on to the next slide. I've got the simple wheel here, and there's 3 words in it: who I am, what I know, and who I know. And I've proportioned those in that circle based on their importance to me. And this is something that I've developed over my life. And I've decided my greatest asset in life is who I am. So how I come across, my attitude to life, how I represent myself, how people see me. And I would say that 80% of the sales I've made in my life, so the work that's been commissioned from me, the jobs I've actually got and secured through interviews, is all down to who I am and how I come across and the way in which people see me. That principle of first impressions count is really, really critical. The second most important is who I know. And the Toolshed would not exist today without those 2 elements, and particularly the who I know. I've made it my purpose in life to get to know a lot of people. My personal database of contacts is over 6,000 people. I know a lot of people, and that's how I get things done. I don't get it done by what I know. That is the smallest portion of what's made me successful in life. So I'm not knocking what I know. Knowledge is really important, but the knowledge of who to go to is more important than me containing all the knowledge. So I guess I'm sending a message out there to all those young people that might be listening, or parents of young people that might be listening. If your children are struggling through the school system and they're not coming out necessarily with a set of outcomes, grades, certificates that ideally they think they might need, all is not lost. You can use networking to actually get where you actually want to go, because who you know and who you are counts for roughly 90% of the success you can have in life. And that is, I'm 53 years old, And I've followed this model for 30 years, and it's certainly led me to be successful. So what goal is an employer seeking to achieve when they employ? That's a photo of one of our toolshed training groups. That's about 5 years old now. We like to have fun. If learning's not fun, then what's the point, really? And I actually did really, really well at school. My brain suited school. I happen to have 2 degrees. Yet I still think who I know and who I am counts much, much more than the knowledge and the certificates I've acquired over my life. So what is the goal an employer is seeking to achieve? Well, weirdly, not employing the wrong person. For example, this person. Well, unless he's right for your organization. Perhaps he wasn't right for the world, and perhaps he wasn't quite the right person for the president of the United States. But most organizations, weirdly, do not want to employ the wrong person. So when they go into a job interview, they're asking that question, are you the wrong person? Slightly weird, isn't it? But actually, most employers have that in their mind, because it's a nightmare for them if they do actually end up hiring the wrong person. They've wasted all that interview time, all that selection time, all that probation time, because you end up being the wrong person. So the key thing when you go into interview processes or when you network is convincing someone you are the right person, and you're certainly not the wrong person. So how does an employer employ? Well, this is really interesting. This is based on evidence tracked over the last 50 years. It actually started in America, and finally we're getting the information over here. So an employer employs like this. So imagine someone is a manager of a team, and someone's going to leave that team and they need to replace them. Well, the first step they take is they ask their team. The second step, they ask the department. The third step, they ask the whole organization. The fourth step, they ask their friends. Then they go out to their own network. Then they might ask their preferred agency. And that's when a CV starts to kick in. So look at the first 5 steps that an employer is taking to find someone to be an employee in the organization. It's got little or nothing to do with a job application or a CV. Now, that doesn't mean that a CV is not important. You do need to have that in your kit bag. You do need to have that ready. But if you're an employer like me, when you read a CV, I've employed, I think, somewhere around 2,000 people over my career. A lot of people. I've had a lot of job interviews that I've taken. And the thing I look for in a CV is the inconsistency. So, for example, if someone puts down a word as a strength, they might say, I'm a resilient person. I'm the type of interviewer that will say, give me an example. I don't want you to put words on your CV that tell me about you if they're not true. So if you said you're resilient, give me an example of when you've been resilient. If you said you're tough-minded, give me an example. If you say that you stick at things, give me an example. So make sure when you go into interviews or you're networking, you're being honest and truthful about what you're actually doing. So what we tend to do and what we tend to be taught is write a CV, put a job advert out there, and then wait. Well, that's certainly not what I'm advocating through the networking model. You've got to be a lot more proactive than that. So small business, big impact. 90% of employers are small, okay? They employ less than 10 people. 90% of all the employers in the United Kingdom are small businesses. And 95% of them want to employ someone they know or is recommended to them. For example, a cafe or a restaurant or someone selling food on the high street or as their business is much more likely to employ someone who walks in and asks for a job, who's then offered a chance to do a quick placement there, just for a day even, and they take it and go for it. There's a high conversion of that versus someone who drops a CV off and expects that employer to get in touch with them. A lot of small businesses are just too busy. The average owner of a small business, or the average number of hours a day they work is 12 hours a day, and many of them work 7 days a week. They do not have the time to trawl through CV after CV after CV, but they put a lot of importance on someone who walks in and is willing to have a go at whatever it is they need them to do right then and there. So 95% of them want to employ someone they know was recommended to them. In other words, they'll use their network. Small businesses network massively. They go to network groups, they have network clubs, they have a large network and circle and contacts. that they actually reference. So you're much more likely to get work through networking to find them. That is why networking is so important. So I want to talk briefly about this concept of 6 degrees of separation. It sounds quite complex, but it isn't. And I'll give you an example of how we used it some years ago. When I first learned it myself, I was sitting at a table with 8 people, including me at the table, and we played a game. We had to come up with the name of someone that was really famous, and we had to find out how many people would we need to know, who would know someone who knew someone that would know this person. And the person we actually chose was Barack Obama. Now, one of the people at the table happened to have a friend, so 1 degree of separation, whose father, 2 degrees of separation, knew the UK ambassador to America. 3 degrees of separation, he can get access to Barack Obama. So in only 3 simple network steps, we managed to network our way to someone who would know the President of the United States. And that's the principle of how networking works. You have lots of different types of people that you know in your network. And so how do you apply that? Well, in 2000, so going back a long time, some of the people on this call might not even be born then, but I certainly was. And I was starting a new business. Now, I'm a New Zealander by origin. I didn't go to school in this country, and so I didn't have a natural network. In fact, my little contacts book back then had no more than about 20 names in it. So from 2000 to now, I've acquired over 5,900 more people in my network. And every single week of every single business week since the year 2000, I've accumulated at least 5 new network names in my network, and I've done it deliberately. So I keep expanding my network, and I've just seen the opportunity grow week on week by doing that. So how did I do it initially? Well, I went out there and I met people. I went to networking groups. But you can do it within your social circles. Okay, who do you know within your friend circle who might know someone who may actually be employing people in a role that you're interested in? Within your family circle, do you have a large family, or do you have quite a diverse family? You should be using those in order to build your network. The more people you know, the more opportunity you will create, and the more people will be working for you to help find those opportunities. So how strong is your network? So here's a little exercise for you, and I'm happy to send this exercise out to Red Kite, and they can distribute this or make it available on their website if they want to. I'm going to suggest you take a piece of A4 paper, you write your name in the middle and circle it. Now write the names of direct contacts you know and circle them. Now draw lines between those contact names where the people know each other as well. What does your diagram look like? Well, does it look like this? Interestingly, when I first did this exercise, that's what my diagram looked like. And I sat back with a big smile on my face. I said, look at my network. Everybody knows everybody else. And then the person taking the group said, that is a poor network. That's a weak network. Okay? Everybody knows everybody else. So there's nothing in there that relates to diversity. They may be all people that know me. They're all like me. They all have the same interests. But I'm not going to create opportunity through a network like that. This is the type of network I need to create. So in this network, I know A, and A knows D, but I don't know D. Now that's strong, because I don't have to know everybody. I just have to have a strong network. So my 6,000 people will all know a minimum of probably 100 people. Well, suddenly my network now is 600,000 people. Massive. I've got a huge network. I know B and I know C. We all know each other. But C doesn't know E. And A, B, most of the others don't know E. And E's got quite an extensive network. So what you want to do is you want to meet lots of different people. So you've got your friend circles. Okay, you wouldn't necessarily introduce your friend to your auntie and your uncle. So that's a separate network. Perhaps you've got 3 or 4 different auntie and uncles on different sides of your family that don't necessarily mix. Well, that's where you can start creating your network. And so people often think that building a network is a really difficult thing to do. Well, it's not. It's just every time you meet someone, make sure you capture something about them, have a conversation about what they're looking for and what you're looking for. So that's a strong network. So how to build a strong network? We'll focus on really on how you can help another person. That is the benefit of networking. Whenever I meet anybody new or anybody on my network reaches out to me for help, I help them. That is the first fundamental step of building a network. Remember, your most important strength is what type of person you are. And if people come to know you as a person who helps other people, you'll get a lot of interaction. Yes, you have to put time and effort in. People aren't generally asking for a lot of time and effort, though. You might be looking at 5 or 10 minutes of help, maybe listening to them, maybe having a quick chat to them, maybe sending them something that you've got, some information you might have, or connecting them up with another person that you know that might be able to benefit them. Seek to give to the network. So always be looking to give to the network. The largest contract I ever won in my life, which was worth £500,000, I networked my way to it over 18 months, and that was the outcome. So was it worth the 18 months? Absolutely, when I won that contract. Foster the relationships. Keep it active. Ring people up every now and then, have a chat. I'm completely hands-free in my car. Everything's done through the car terminal. So I often, if I'm on an hour's journey, rather than sitting there listening to the radio, I'll ring people up and have a chat to them. It's just a chat, just a conversation. Hey, how are you? How's your business? How are things going? So I use that time to build and foster my network. Communicate with your network, should get some spelling going here, shouldn't I? At least every 90 days, and build your network to try and contain about 1,000 people. I learned through another course I went on, you want over time to try and build your network, which includes anybody that you know. So it can be your parents, it can be your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, anybody. It can be your school friends. You want to get to roughly 1,000 people, and then magic things start to happen in terms of opportunities that will come your way. So there's a bit of work to do if you're starting out now, but you could probably get there quite quickly, within a year to 2 years if you started quickly. And that's it. So I hope you found that useful. I'll just flick back to the other slide so we can keep that up and you can keep those there. If you want to know a little bit more about the tool shed, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us. It's toolshedbucks.co.uk. We've got our centres are in High Wycombe, but we have students that come from all over the place to be with us. So yeah, thanks a lot for listening, and I hope you got some value out of that.
Absolutely. Well, that was one fantastic advice. Networking, and I couldn't agree more. I would second that, David, that it's so important to network with people. It's always about who you know, not what you know, actually. And I've got some great feedback for you. Nahida has said, interesting to learn about the 6 degrees of separation and how important networking is to everyday life. We got another comment, totally agree that networking is key. Your network bring opportunities into your lives. Great advice, David. So I think that was absolutely fantastic, David. It was great to have you on board with us today. And I'm sure people must have learned, such great techniques to network with people, because, it's not easy for everyone. Everyone is different. Some people find it easy to, network. Some people are not, they are a little bit shy, but I think if they follow your...
Baz, everybody has the capacity to give something, and you just have to think, just listen and think, what could I, and actually the greatest gift you can give most people is just listen. So if you are a bit shy and introvert, like I am, I'm shy and introvert.
I can't believe that.
I am. I'm an introvert that learned to be an extrovert, and I practice at it. And, at the end of the day, if there's something, if you have a goal in life, something you want, you have to develop your strengths for sure. But you've got to overcome some of those weaknesses that you might have. And I've done that. I'm no born extrovert that just went out there in the world and took it on. I was very introvert when I was young, and I developed the skill set over time. Just keep at it, and you'll get there.
That's great. I agree again with you, David. I think you're right. It's about what tools you're gonna use to network, and I think if young people follow your advice and tips today,